All right, so we need to talk about some major breaking news that's making its way around the news. And this is big for the white hat community, as well as the operation that's happening with Trump and those that are behind the scenes working stuff out. And so there's a public facing message that's happening, and there's some stuff behind the scenes that we are going to speculate in this video and give some theories on what that is. And so let's first go over some of the news, the updates, and some of the reactions from the public. So the official news was published from the Office of Public Affairs, basically the DOJ, which said that they're going to reintroduce other methods of the federal death penalty, namely introducing the firing squad. And they've attached some supplementary documentation with some of their research and their takes, history, and just so many other like official type language. And you can go through that if you'd like. And major news outlets, they are reporting it, giving their take, and just basically reacting to it. And something not a lot of people know is that back in November of 2020, before or after the election steal, of course, with Biden and all that, and then before he left, quote unquote, left office, what the Justice Department actually tried to do was rush expanding execution methods like the firing squad for federal death row inmates. Now, this is important because it actually passed, and he was successful in changing this, whereby the previous method of federal execution protocol was mainly carried out through lethal injection. So before this, it was all lethal injection mainly, and then it was reintroduced. Although they say officially there were no federal prisoners being executed during those final months, but of course we can all speculate with Biden and just so many of the other stuff and people that had been executed and replaced by certain masked people. And again, this is all conspiracy. You can think what you want there. But what's important about this is that there's a delineation between the emergency powers and the death penalty between certain frameworks, like the Insurrection Act, which in this case is relevant because it's within civil federal courts, versus where a lot of white hats are talking about martial law or military tribunals or even military justice under the UCMJ, which is court martial and all that stuff, but also the continuity of government, COG, or maybe devolution, all that stuff is also within the realm of federal civil courts, meaning that as long as civil courts are operational, this is a supplement to make sure that the execution, implementation of all these types of death penalty methods go on as needed. So with regards to the Insurrection Act, it deploys military to help police enforce the law, and part of that is the death penalty. And how many times has Trump mentioned Insurrection Act in the past year? And the one time that he posted about this in the last year, just going through all his posts, was back in January of 2026, especially during all the Minnesota stuff. He talked about corrupt politicians of Minnesota not being able to obey the law and stop professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE who are only trying to do their job. I will institute the Insurrection Act, he says, which many presidents have done before me. So he's teeing up and giving to the public a little bit of a teaser into the future. And of course, Q talks about the Insurrection Act one time, post 4360, Insurrection Act of 1807, determination that the various state and local authorities are not up to the task of responding to the growing unrest. Call the ball. And remember, we are seeing all of that play out in the sense of who is it that's in authority and in power? Congress, local authorities, state authorities. What are they doing with regards to the illegal acts and immigration, even some of the criminals, all this stuff, and the overtaking of the government? And remember, in addition to the Insurrection Act, remember what habeas corpus is, suspending habeas corpus, and this is post 3900, where it's referencing Title 18, which is United States Code 2381 here, treason, and then all the other codes within Title 18. And what's interesting here is treason is 2381, 2383, rebellion or insurrection, 2384, seditious conspiracy, 2385, advocating overthrow of government, and so on and so forth. And then if you click this link here, where it basically just takes you to certain excerpts of the Constitution, I just want to read a little part of it. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless, when in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it, and whereas a rebellion was existing on the 3rd day of March of 1863, which rebellion is still existing, and whereas by a statute which was approved on that day, it was enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States in Congress assembled, that during the present insurrection the president of the U.S., whenever in his judgment the public safety may require, is authorized to suspend the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus in any case throughout the United States. And so remember, Trump, the White Hats, and the Q team or whoever, they're teeing it up for what is about to come with regards to all of the treason, the seditious conspiracy, all of this stuff as is shown from Title 18 USC 2381 all the way down. And all of this stuff is legit happening, but the public has to digest it. The public has to understand it, decode it. The normies have to get into the fold. Otherwise, it's going to look like Trump is the person that's inciting and doing all this stuff that, looks bad from an optics perspective. But really, the truth is behind it, which the Q Post talks about, with all these guys actually committing treason and aiding and abetting the enemy of the state. And I just want to read this quick post by Awaken Outlaw. He says that if you think that Trump's DOJ is just bringing back firing squads for no real reason, you're wrong. Of course, there's an endless debate to be had over different methods of unaliving the guilty and or the morality of doing so, but that's not what this is about. This is all about delivering a message. There are certain crimes for which the only appropriate level of justice demands this type of definitive public closure, primal as it may be. Truth is, he's bringing firing squads back because all the right people who needed to get the message they've long dreaded hearing just got it, and I can assure you that they got it loud and clear. And again, this is coming from a time for which the Biden, that administration, that time, they removed it and then they brought it back. And with all this ramping up, with the whole war in Iran, with everything that is being exposed right now as we see it, it's just going to get worse in the sense of for the black hats, the enemy, the guys who have committed treason. So I believe justice is coming. I know a lot of people are complaining, well, I'll see it when I believe it and all that stuff, but it's being teed up little by little. So be blessed, be encouraged. Justice is coming, and it's a great time to be alive. And guys, if you guys want to support me and my team, I am listener supported, and we're trying to meet our goal for this month. So would love it if you guys can support me in that. All the information is down below in the description. GiveSendGo.com/chrisyoonyt. Love you guys. More to come. Talk to you guys very soon.